Welcome back to 5 Minute Bible Study. Today's verses are not fun. I will do my best and we will just piece it together day by day. I'll start with 21 to 23, verse 21 to 23, and we'll go from there. Brother will betray brother to death, and a father his child. Children will rebel against their parents and have them put to death. All men will hate you because of me. But he who stands firm to the end will be saved. When you are persecuted in one place, flee to another. I tell you the truth, you will not finish going through the cities of Israel before the Son of Man comes. So basically what I observed here is that these verses make it sound like it's every man for himself. Relationships don't matter, only I matters, only you, yourself. And if relationships, if they lose their value and don't matter, how can there be a good and loving world? I don't even think that's possible. Once relationships get thrown to the side and I is all that matters, there can't be love because you're only loving yourself now. You're not loving other people. I wrote down here that as soon as I is at the top of everyone's priority list, how can there be unity? Because now you're only looking out for yourselves, so no one's looking out for each other, so there's no unity. You're only on a solo team. And then he says, everyone is going to hate you because I ask you to stand for and live for something completely opposite than what the world lives for. I'm asking you to put I at the bottom and to put God at the top, and people are right there underneath God. So you're here, people, God. It's no longer about you and your needs and what makes you happy and satisfied. Live for God, love him, love his people, make sure his people are loved. That is the priority in your days. And so he says, I'm asking you to flip it upside down. But if you stick to his plan, he does promise that it's all going to work out for good. Even your good. Even though when you read these verses, it doesn't sound like it, and it sounds terrible. And then he says, when you are treated brutally, it's okay to leave and go elsewhere. If you're being treated brutally because you're following me. If you're being treated brutally because you're acting like a jerk, well, that's on you. But if you are loving God and loving people in the way God asks you to love them, and people are still being brutal to you, you can go. And the weird thing is he kind of promises you and says, you know what? You're going to see a lot of places because you're going to get persecuted in a lot of places, meaning you have to keep leaving and going somewhere new. So you're actually going to see a lot of different places because you follow me, and it won't be easy, not until I come back. He seems to be clearly promising a hard life, not a settled life. Quite the opposite of the American dream. My best friend and I were just talking about this yesterday because when I was a single mom with Summer, her dad wouldn't come very often to get her, but when he would for a few hours, I was so relieved to have some time to myself that I would just lay on the couch. I just so desperately wanted to do nothing. And now my life isn't like that, and I have Ted and whatever, but I feel like I'm still in this endless pursuit of doing nothing. And she asked me, what's nothing? I said, I don't know, like laying on the couch, scrolling on my phone, doing nothing. But the other day, I was really busy with things I all enjoy. And at the end of the day, I was like, man, that day was chaotic. But I really enjoyed the day. And I felt way more fulfilled than I did when I finally get a couple hours to myself on the couch. Even there, when it's time to go get the kids from school, it's like, it's never enough time of doing nothing. And I feel like the idea of the American dream is to have everything and be able to do nothing anymore. Maybe you had to do something to get it, but now that you have everything, you don't have to do anything, and that's the American dream. And I think the sad part is, and I'm in this, to realize that It's not very satisfying. It's not very satisfying to have everything and get to sit on your butt. Because having things just doesn't bring you satisfaction. Like when you love somebody or help somebody or encourage somebody, that warms you up inside and that gives you hope and a purpose. And so we promise is a hard life, but I think behind all that is a good heart, is a satisfied heart, is a happy heart, even though life might be hard. If we're sitting around doing nothing, that might look like a good life and an easy life, but our heart sure would be discontent and stirred up. So those are my thoughts on today. Let me know what you think, and I would love it if you would subscribe. That helps me.